exploring lakes, rivers, and reservoirs across the country with an unyielding goal to enlighten viewers from a fish-eye perspective. Come along and we'll investigate the habitat. Much more than a fishing show, this is an eye-opening aquatic experience. Welcome to Kim Stricker's Hook and Look. It's an indecisive puzzle, locating fish.
We'll figure those fish out.
You cover water at preconceived depths in search of both quantity and quality.
Where are the good ones at?
A challenging conundrum for sure, and to some extent, bewildering.
Marking the bluegills like crazy off here.
When ultimately you discover the better fish have been right under your nose.
Well, hopefully the rain is done. We had thunderstorms last night, strong thunderstorms and a lot of rain. And I don't know how that'll affect the fishing, but a major front went through. This is one of the first fronts of the late summer. I mean, the water temperature is still 80 degrees. But I'm gonna try cranking off the edge of the weeds. That's the bluegills, they school out there. And I'm in hopes we can catch a few bass. Let's give this a shot. That's a fish. That's a fish. All right. Not very big of a fish, but it's a fish. It's a start. Well, he's not too bad, is he? Come on up here. Come on up here. Just a little guy. But just a keeper size. But on that pattern, just on the outside. We'll keep plugging away and hopefully get some better ones. All right. This is just running right at the right depth. And I can tick the top of those weeds and I can tell what my depth is. See, I just tapped the weeds there. So that's telling me I'm probably 8 foot right there. The fish. Oh. A little better. Just on that edge. On the edge. This crankbait is running right at the right depth. Ooh, yeah, that's a little better fish. Man, you look at, he ate that bait too. Get my net. There. Come on in here, fish. A little better. But look at how he ate that. Ah, there you go. There you go. About a nice 2-pounder. It just shows you. This is the KVD 1.5 deep version. This will run like on 10-pound fluorocarbon, runs down to like 9 feet. And that's right where those the weed edge is. The bluegills are hanging there. It's just perfect scenario to catch these things. At this time of year, the fish start grouping up, getting ready to feed up for winter. So where you catch one, you definitely want to fish it more thoroughly. See, what you can see right there is that's the bottom. Those are the valsinaria, and that's the fish hanging on top of it. And just beyond that, it'll be a clear bottom.
Stay tuned. There's more to learn from the lake bottom when Hook and Look returns. Hook and Look is brought to you by Strike King Lure Company, #1 in fishing lures. Lose, feel the difference. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Seagar, trust Seagar when everything is on the line. And by AquaView, reinventing underwater cameras.
There he is. He's kind of acting like a good one. Ooh. There you go. There you go. He's got hooks in his mouth, in his gill. Get that off there. Got him right in that pectoral fin. There we are. There's a little nicer fish, huh? Again, on that edge of the drop-off. Along those weeds. Very nice, man. Good pattern. It should hold up throughout the day.
Taking into consideration that the core of any angling presentation consists of several components, today's Seagar system begins with a Strike King KVD Deep 1.5 crankbait. The double structure process of 10-pound Seagar Tatsu fluorocarbon delivers an amazingly strong yet supple line that casts beautifully off the spool of a Team Lew's Mach Crush Speed spin reel. Completing the system is a 7-foot medium-action Team Lew's Custom Pro Series spinning rod.
There's broadleaf cabbage in this lake too. And you get hung up on that, it's kind of difficult to get off it. It don't rip easy. But that grows at about 8 foot and less. Just on the outskirts of that is the valsinaria edge, and then it turns to an open bottom. There we go. That seems like a little better fish. Yeah, right in this corner. Very nice. Get over here. Get over here. Just a nice average size. There we go. Yeah. Nice fish. One here, one there. Maybe there's a stack here. We haven't caught one in this little spot right here, and I'll fish it harder. But it's, you know, you feel they're still warm. It's, you know, the water temp's 80 degrees, so it's still a summer pattern. Definitely. Starting to think of a presentation change. I'm switching to a swim jig. Without question, the deep version of the Model 1.5 crankbait was running at the ideal depth to search over the weed edge, and I was connecting with a bass here and there. However, I was beginning to think if I slowed down my presentation, I might be able to get a few more bites, and perhaps larger fish in the same areas. So I decided to give a Swinging Swim Jig with a Rage Bug trailer a whirl. Oh, right there. Nice fish too. Oh. Oh, yes. Get over here, fishy. That slower presentation made a difference. Cool. He could jump back in the water. But the Swinging Swim Jig, ooh, it just fell out of his mouth too. Yep. You know, they'll bite the crankbait some, and I'll continue to fish it as well. But this front going through, they just don't seem as aggressive now that it's pushing through. The sun will start coming out pretty soon. But a nice chunk. The Swinging Swim Jig. That's like, I think that's a 4/0 hook. And again, on these rage bugs, you gotta pull the tails apart so they're free. And I'm just Texas rigging it. Just like so, bury that hook. So you've got a free moving head, hook, the tails, the arms. The action is phenomenal. I'm throwing 20-pound Tatsu fluorocarbon, and we are ready to go again.
Don't go away. A real swinging time is about to commence. Right after this.
While taking part in the Evinrude Edge demo tour, I had the opportunity to pick up some interesting facts from marine consultant Carl Sandstrom.
I travel all over the country for Evinrude, talking to dealers and customers and boat builders and trying to understand how they see Evinrude and what they believe the technology is and what it affords the customer. Oftentimes we hear people ask us, why have you gone direct injection on a 2-stroke power plant as opposed to going with just EFI on a 4-stroke? And the answer is very simple. There are significant advantages of putting direct injection into an engine as opposed to just electronic fuel injection on a 4-stroke. One of the big things we hear is an understanding or a misunderstanding maybe of what FICT technology was and what the E-Tech technology actually is. And they are vastly different systems. They are completely and totally different. The FICT technology was simply a first effort by the industry to be emissions compliant. It was when the direct injection technology was just in its infancy. Today, the Evinrude E-Tech G2 fuel injection system is based on a voice coil that actually can control the fuel and the movement in the injector forwards and backwards. It gives us incredibly precise control over the fuel mixture entering the cylinder, and it's the reason why we're able to get incredible torque, super fuel economy, and ultra low emissions, up to 75% lower than the competitive 4-strokes on the market today.
Slower presentation. I know I'm fishing key areas here, and I get some initial bites on the crankbait. Once I find them, I think we'll do better to fish a little slower. Kind of swim it over the bottom slowly and then let it fall. There's a fish. Ooh, ooh, there's a big bass. There's a big bass.
We interrupt this catch to point out the mechanics of Strike King's Swinging Swim Jig. Designed by Strike King's pro staff, this versatile jig features a free swinging hook design that helps keep fish from throwing the hook. The amount of leverage is reduced dramatically when the hook swings free from the weighted jig head, therefore keeping those wild, acrobatic fish pinned. In addition, the free swinging hook increases the action of your chosen trailer. We now return you to your regularly scheduled fish catch.
Oh man, whoa baby, that's a dandy. That is a dandy. Yes, look at here. Oh man. Oh yes, oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a better one. And it took, well, it took that swim jig. Man, he looked, did he swallow that thing or what? Gosh, it's down there. We can get it out of there. Right there on the side. Right in the hard part. Right in that bony spot right there. There it is. Swinging Swim Jig. But isn't that nice? Nice fish. So they're there. You know, the crankbait might be a little fast for them during this front situation, but I'm running it to find the fish. And when I do, I'll slow down with that jig. But I'll keep this stuff up. I love bass fishing. Now that was more like it. But I've got to be honest, at that point I hadn't yet recognized that I'd been sitting right on top of the better fish, which were bunched up in deeper water following the bluegills. When reviewing my footage back in the studio, I became aware that in 2 of my previous catches, my electronics had captured the same scenario. I'd been targeting the 8 to 9 foot weed edge with my crankbait, but my swim jig was now reaching the greater depth. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's a good one. That swinging swim jig. The old net. There you go. Another solid fish. Look at, he had it right in the side plate. Look at that. Yeah. Very nice.
Coming up, the pattern becomes more noticeable. Stay tuned. This portion of Hook and Look is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Evinrude, the only outboard that lets you have it all. Simms Fishing Products, the choice of professional guides and anglers worldwide. Trickstep, because getting in and out of your trailered boat should be easy. And by Indian River, Michigan Tourist Bureau. Pure waters, pure trails, pure north.
Just like I said, look at that, look at that. Oh, oh, oh. That was a good one. That was another good one. I'm marking fish off here in deeper water, deeper than I fished here before. We just may have learned something. Oh, that was a dandy. Oh, man. Get back in there. They're biting this thing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong with this one either. Look at this. Oh, look at that fish. Yes. Come over here. Come. Whoa, don't do that. Come to my net. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I think we may have just learned something. There's a group of good ones here. Look at that, nice fat, look at that fat belly. Uh-huh. I lost that one. And what's the chance of another one getting it? Tells me there's more here. It was all coming together now. Outside the thick weed edge, the depth gradually slopes deeper and the vegetation becomes sparse. The bottom at this depth is comprised of soft sediment carpeted with an algae-type moss. It's out here where the majority of larger bass were cruising, and while performing my underwater surveillance, I came face to face with this hefty chunk. In addition, it didn't take long to confirm the fact that the bass were indeed grouped up and appeared to be stalking, similar to a wolf pack on the prowl. Furthermore, I found it quite interesting that they were doing so following each other in single file, ultimately pushing the bluegill schools out over the deeper open water where they were feeding on them. And my swim and swim jig was reaching that depth and proved to be just the ticket. Another solid Largemouth, look at that. Right in the old net. Yep, we just found us a wad. You know, these aren't giant, but they're good quality fish for Michigan anyway. Swinging Swim Jig. Yes, sir. I mean, I did. I marked stuff out there a little further than I had fished before. When I saw that, that was my first clue. Then I lost that good one. Then I caught a good one. Then I caught another good one. Don't tell your buddies. It's definitely rewarding when you figure out different patterns as well as different lures. Even more so when one proves to be the better combination for that particular day. That was fun, and we've got more fun coming on our next episode when my friend Marcel Vistra accompanies us in Indian River, Michigan. The lakes in this area are well known for producing giant smallies, and once again, it didn't disappoint. We'll do some hooking and some informative looking next week on Hook and Look.
Hook and Look is a Kim Stricker production.